In 2024, you might be doing very well as a black person or even a mixed race person. You have skills, you have money, you have everything that you need, even friends, a great education. But there's just one problem. You're still black. You tend to forget this because of your success, and sometimes you have to get reminded the hard way. This young lady unfortunately got her wake-up call.
When I was still in high school, I was so desperate for male validation and attention. I used to have a thing with this boy, and he used to call me the N-word, and I just let him. Not only did he call me the N-word, but he wanted me to call him my master as a term of endearment, and I did. He'll be like, "What's up, my little N-word," or "my little slave baby." And I'd be like, "Hey, master." Unsurprisingly, it turned out he never liked me, and I was just an inside joke between his friends.
So that's her. She's a black woman, but sometimes I notice those people who are mixed race tend to feel that things are okay with them until they find out that it's not. In England right now, there's been a really big issue with migration, especially in certain parts of the country. And we have a situation where it's twofold. One, Muslims are taking over the UK. And two, there has been a murder in the UK of 3 little white girls by young black men.
He arrived at court with huge security around him. The teenage defendant was in the white prison van, so far anonymous, but about to be named publicly. Axel Rudakabana is 17, British, born in Wales and of Rwandan heritage. He faces 14 charges, including possession of a kitchen knife with a curved blade. The most serious, the of Bebe King, Elsie Dot Stancombe and Elsie Aguiar. The attempted of 8 other young children stabbed during a holiday dance and yoga class in Southport on Monday.
And this young man, whose parents come from Rwanda, kicked off something in which it was already there as far as animosity and built up tension. Muslims started getting attacked in the UK. Now, there's no proof that this particular young man is Muslim, but 3 white girls were killed. He is black. His family are immigrants. So again, Muslims got targeted. And one of the people that was really adamant about this is Andrew Tate. Now remember, Andrew Tate is half black, half white. And his father was an African-American chess player. His mother was a white lady from Britain. And he did convert over to Islam. And Andrew Tate, who is somehow loved in the UK, came to the defense of Muslims. And he had this to say: "If Islam is the problem, why are UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, etc. so safe? Bad government is the problem, not Islam." He also had this to say: "Perhaps it's because I'm mixed race that I'm so anti-violence. I can't adhere to any ideology that allows half of my family to suffer. The white or the brown. We need peace, unity, and understand who really sold us out. Do not turn on each other." Sounds pretty good, right? Give him a round of applause. That sounds like he really cares. And then Andrew Tate decided to make a video on the topic himself.
It's amazing to see everybody falling into the Matrix's trap. I have Muslims messaging me about how I need to take their side. I have the British messaging me about the fact that I was raised in the UK and I should take the British Patriots side. I've made it clear that I think people should only enter the country legally, and I believe that people who were natively born to a land have a right to that land. And for it to be conquered by military-age males from far away is going to be upsetting and distressing to any red-blooded male on the planet. However, this false dichotomy of sides, choose a team, is exactly what the Matrix wants. Because I'm going to tell you what is going to happen for certain by the end of this. If the 2 teams continue to fight each other, absolutely nothing will be achieved. 95% of people who are on the streets have legitimate concerns that they want to be voiced and heard and respected. Probably on both sides of the equation. And then there's going to be a small contingent on both sides, which are going to be violent and have knives and guns, etc., etc. Those are going to be the ones highlighted by the media. Those are going to be the ones who are purported out to be being told they were the whole group. Everybody was like these people. They're mindless. They're senseless. They have no point of view. They have no legitimate concerns. They just love violence. That's going to be the media spin. And what the UK government is going to do by the end of this whole scenario, unless people get their act together and realize that the problem is actually the elites in Westminster and not the people they live amongst, is that there's going to be no more right to protest, no more right to assemble, stricter rules about speech online, stricter rules about having a point of view, and you're going to find more and more people having their doors knocked in the middle of the night by police officers and taken to cells for saying things which are legitimate and which are true because they have concerns about the safety of their children. More people are going to end up being charged with hate speech or some kind of inciting to violence or some other kind of subjective garbage to prevent anybody from voicing their opinion anymore. And the elites are sitting there in their ivory castle laughing because you have the poor browns fighting the poor whites, and they know by the end of it they'll have all the excuses they need to just take away more freedoms from everybody, the poor browns and the poor whites. That's how it's going to end. You can't preach the idea of a multicultural society, then ignore the views and concerns of one particular culture within that multicultural society, especially if you're pandering to those of another culture, and especially if the culture being ignored is the native culture. You can't do that without expecting violence. Perhaps you'd ask, maybe they do expect violence. Maybe they want to, because the answer to it all is just going to be Keir standing up saying, we need tougher laws, 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 laws. And those laws will be abused because laws are always abused by the government. So they're going to say it's for your safety, but eventually the laws are going to be abused to prevent you from ever having a point of view on anything ever again, ever expressing your opinion on anything ever again. And it's not only going to be the white people who are suppressed, it's going to be the other side who are suppressed also. We're all just going to end up in the same mush. You know, I've traveled the world enough to see, guys, I promise you, it's rich versus poor. It's not poor black versus poor white. It's not poor brown versus poor white. It's rich versus poor. There are people in the world who have no interest at all in the sanctity and safety of society. They're interested in protecting only their money and their profits, and they're going to allow the streets to run with blood to do that. Those are the problem, much more than the people you live amongst. I don't think we're going to be able to convince anybody of that in time to stop this violence, but it's the truth of the situation. And unless everybody gets together and understands that, the future is going to be quite dystopian for the common man. Because if all these people rioting were instead outside of Westminster demanding change from politicians, then we might get change from politicians. But this ant-on-ant fighting isn't going to work. You know, there's a really interesting analogy. If you put black ants and red ants in a jar, they don't fight until you shake the jar. Because then they get mad. And they say, who shook our jar? And they start to kill each other. Because the black ants think the red ants shook the jar, and the red ants think the black ants shook the jar. Truthfully, neither of them shook the jar. Someone else did, who wanted them all to fight in the first place.
Now, it really sounds like Andrew Tate cares and all of that. But, you know, Andrew Tate doesn't really care that much. See, if you guys remember, I did a video on Andrew Tate basically disrespecting the same community he comes from. Not only him, all of his little racist friends, his brother does so. He calls black people the N-word, but now he's out there trying to pretend like he didn't say these things. But don't worry, look at this. Juneteenth isn't a real holiday. It's ratchet N-word BS, okay? And that's not the only time he said things like that. But don't trip, people are going to remind him how racist he has been talking to others. Then white folks from England came after him and he got upset. Sad music. This is the first time in my life I'm getting serious racist insults for being brown from white people in the UK. Not a good look. Oh, wait a minute. Now you're out there acting like it hurts your feelings, right? Oh my God. Don't worry. Let's go ahead and look at some of these people commenting about how brown you are. You are brown though, says one person. You are pink or beige. Talk about an ultimate backfire. You're brown. You rat F. Remember how you were racist to Asians yourself? OJ Smoke says, you have an utter lack of self-awareness. You're the son of a black man and a professed Muslim. Did you really think these right-wingers would respect you? They might humor you because you're sometimes funny, but you are their enemy and you're incredibly naive to see it. Look at what somebody else said. It's the liberals' fault, but you skins are coming into the country, taking up resources, leading kids while you're there. The United Kingdom is for whites and you're not welcome. Now, this is a person. Remember, Andrew Tate was born in the UK, guys. He was born from the UK. All of these people are roasting him for that. They are treating him and giving him his Negro wake-up call. Now it's the first time he's ever experienced this. He doesn't understand what's happening. And let that be an example to the rest of y'all. That's what's going to happen to you too. You see, everything is okay, until you get on their, you get on their bad side. Now all of a sudden you're all of those bad names. Now you're this and now you're that. You're talking about, Juneteenth is the N-words. It's ghetto. Nah, them people think your ass is ghetto. And that's how it always works out. And then when you get your Negro wake up call, now all of a sudden, oh, I don't like this. Come on, guys. You thought that people liked you, bro? Nah, man. When you talk about black people all day, it's all good, man. That's great. But now you're talking about the white folks. No, you're not white. You're not white, guy. Okay. Now you're finding out what the case is. Now you're getting your Negro wake up call and you don't like it. The rest of you guys who are black or mixed race and talking down on the black community, you guys are also next. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.